Hi everyone and welcome to Homerino Collectibles, where today we're going to be taking a look at the McFarlane Toys 7-inch DC Multiverse Batman. That's right, Multiverse is now 7-inch, and actually I really do like that. I loved DC Collectibles and DC Direct figures when I first started out collecting. My brother had some, and then that kind of got me into it. I absolutely adore that scale for DC figures, and I really enjoy the old Universe lines and everything. But, you know, it's not Mattel anymore. It's time to make that change and make these things something new and something that us DC fans really enjoy. And I think the majority would prefer 7-inch figures from DC. McFarlane Toys can see that, and here we go. They are bigger, they are more iconic, they're just epic. So this is the new Multiverse line, and honestly, I'm loving the look of these things. I'm loving the articulation and everything. There are some areas of some of these figures that, you know, could be changed. We're going to see that with this one as well, especially in that midsection. It's not the most perfect Batman in the world, but you know what? It is one of the only Detective Comics 1000 Batman designs out there, and so for now, this thing will do. It's definitely not a bad figure at all. So we have this amazing artwork on the back here, and then also some other figures that also came out in the first wave. So yeah, let's just go ahead and crack this thing open and take a closer look. So just as I was opening up the box, I thought I'd show you this. So the stand, which is included, and also the little card artwork, which I think is really nice that they include those, as well as the actual action figure accessories. You're getting a little card as well. That's really nice, which I will obviously show you a bit closer up. As you can see, is glued to the back here. It's a big piece of plastic that's glued on, a bit like a kind of, plastic clamshell type thing. You are going to have to kind of damage that card, that back, to get that off, which means if you're the kind of person that likes to open up your figures and put them back in the box, you're probably not going to want to get the stand or that out, because you are going to kind of damage this. So if you want to keep that intact, you're going to honestly have to just leave those accessories where they are. But I am the type of person that likes to open my stuff up, so I'm going to tear this out, and I'll be right back. Here we have Batman out of the packaging. This thing is an absolute delight to pose. The articulation is incredible, and I really do like the accessories that are included, although I do think the Batarang could do it being just a little bit slimmer. So first up, let's take a look at those accessories, and well, I guess I'll just start with the Batarang as I mentioned it. It's a really nice design, but you can just see, compared to the size of his hand, it looks like it's pretty damn thick. I mean, that's going to be quite blunt force when it hits. It's not really the sharpest thing. I think really it's fine on the top edge. The bottom edge of it, I just wish was a little bit sharper. But it's a really nice shape and design, very unique. Batarang right there, obviously it's just done in black plastic. I just wish it kind of chamfered in towards the bottom edge there, just so it was a bit more sharper, and I guess a bit more like a more realistic Batarang. And he would still have a really good purchase on it if it was a bit thinner, because the hands are nice and soft and flexible and will, mold open to hold pretty much any accessory. As you can see, he holds his grapnel launcher really well, which is obviously bigger than this. But they are still tight enough to hold something even smaller than this as well. So really nice. But yeah, a great accessory. Could have been done a little bit better, I feel, if it was just a bit thinner. Here is the artwork card. Really awesome. So obviously it's just the cover of Detective Comics 1000, I guess. And then on the back, there we have a little bio on Batman himself. So it's the source, so it shows Detective Comics 1000, which is from 2019, and then you've got obviously name, height, and weight, and then just a little description. It's just a really nice little bio card. If there's kids that don't know much about the characters, then they can learn a bit about them from this. As a collector, it's just another nice thing that you can add to your collection, a collection of these artwork cards. You can put them all in your display, or you could maybe frame them. You can get a ton of these and frame them, and then it's all just like mini comic book covers, which is really cool. Yeah, I really do like this thing. We also get the stand down here, which really helps you get into a lot of the poses that this thing can do. It helps you utilize the articulation. It's got one single peg, Very reminiscent of the older DC Direct stands, and it's just got nice DC logo there as well. And that's pretty much it. It's just a really, really awesome little stand. And then the grapnel launcher, it's just a nice silver metallic launcher. The cable here does not come out, so the line does not come out. That is molded in as one piece. It is kind of flexible. Don't mess with it too much though. I wouldn't want that to snap. And on the end we have the nice little, I don't really know what that's called. I guess the claw or whatever. We just have a bat on the end there. So a nice thing. Would have been cool if you could take that out. It would have been even more awesome if it had a peg on and you could maybe like peg it into the back of his belt or something like that. But I mean, that's just going a bit overboard and going a bit more of a kind of expensive route. But yeah, awesome. So you get a Batarang and a grapnel launcher and a stand and a little card thingy. Plus the figure has awesome articulation, looks great, and is 7 inches. And actually, let's straighten this guy out and find out exactly how tall this dude really is. I know he's kind of hunched to one side there and stuff, but let's just get this guy standing straight up. There we go, and find out how tall he really is. So he's about 7 inches exactly to the top of the head, but the ears make it over 7 1/4. So there you go. You can see there the top of the one ear is a little bit bent out of package, and then also these thingy bobs on his arms, they're a little bit bent from package. They are soft rubber, so they won't snap or break, but obviously they are going to be a little bit deformed from the package, but I'm sure that over time you can straighten those out so they won't be too terribly bad. But yeah, I just think in general, because these things are a bigger scale, and you come with more accessories and stuff than older kind of Mattel Multiverse stuff, I think these things are absolutely incredible. The sculpts as well, they have really nice detail on them, nice paint taps and stuff too. And with all the articulation in there as well, I mean, for the same price as a similar thing from DC Collectibles, or again from Mattel Multiverse stuff, you're getting so much more for your money from these things. I honestly cannot speak highly of them enough. But they do have their drawbacks, and the one thing you might be looking at is the kind of midsection here. So we have this kind of floating belt and kind of pants piece, which is covering the articulation in the midsection. That's totally fine, and something that you would probably find on more expensive figures, but that is a really nice thing. Now the midsection here, it is articulated. We will look at the articulation properly. So you've got enough of kind of a cutout there to get all of this range of motion, but the chest doesn't really kind of come down as thinly as you'd want. He's got this huge chest, and it just kind of sticks out. You've got this kind of gap either side of the midsection. When you get him into poses, it looks totally fine, and you start turning it around. It does look a little weird, I guess, but it's not the worst thing in the world. The neck up here, it's a very thick neck, and the head, some people have complained that it is a little bit small. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's not the end of the world. These arms here, you can't really get perfectly straight down. That's about as far down as they will go. They can't come straight down to his side. But again, it's not the end of the world. You can always just rotate them and bring them in a little bit. Like, a lot of the complaints that people have about this guy and making out that it's a really, really bad figure and it's just horrible, like this and the Superman, it's just ridiculous to me. I mean, I think that this figure is an absolutely awesome one. I know it can just look a little strange from some angles, like with that midsection and stuff, but honestly, it's a toy. And in hand, you will love it a lot more than how it looks on this video right here and on other pictures and how other people have explained it to be. So let's take a look at some of that detail. We have this awesome Batman logo right here. And then if we come into the side of the legs, you can see this kind of textured pattern right there. And you've got these kind of, built up seam lines and stuff. The cape is absolutely gorgeous. It's a nice rubbery, flexible cape. And the detail on this thing is awesome. These creases and obviously the natural shadows that you're getting, oh, I absolutely love them. The head sculpt, I didn't like it from pictures and stuff, but honestly, in person, I really, really do love this thing. And what's really cool is the head is kind of rubbery and kind of very thin at the back here. that enables more articulation from this guy. And I love just like the shape of that, how it all just matches. Awesome. But it means that when you bring the head up, the back of the head has a little bit of flex, so you can actually look up, which most other figures, if that was like a really, really hard head, that wouldn't be able to do that. So you can actually get him looking up a bit more than you would otherwise. So that is pretty sweet. And there's no like gaps or anything around that neck either, so that looks awesome. So let's just move straight into articulation now, seeing as we're doing that. So obviously you can look up and down, left and right, pivot a lot side to side as well. That's really cool. These shoulder bits on the capes, obviously that is going to hinder some of the articulation. But you know what? I think that looks so incredible, and it's how Batman's cape should be. I hope they're all like this. I mean, absolutely fantastic. Todd McFarlane has said that they are going to experiment with the capes. They know some people like the look like this. Some people like more articulation and just like nothing over the shoulder whatsoever. But for the most part, I think that this is the best compromise, because you can actually still get a decent amount of articulation. The cape is rubbery, so you can still lift the arm up, as you can see, so you can still use that grapnel launcher to, pull himself straight up. The head can even look up towards it as well. So I think that that is enough articulation. For a Batman, I don't really think you need much more. There is actually a butterfly joint in there. It's a bit stiff and a bit hard to get to, but the arms do move forward and back in there. Obviously, the shoulders can move out to the side all the way as well. Rotate the upper part of the arm, double jointed elbow, and then the wrists, they have the swivel here, and they have a ball hinge, so they can angle up and down, or if you rotate the ball hinge over to the side, and then you can move the hand, and then the hands can move in and out. So you have full range of motion right there. You got the two ball joints in the torso, so the top section can move left and right, forward and back, and side to side. And then the bottom section can move forward and back, left to right, and side to side. So you can get a very natural looking twist and pivots and everything. Crunch doesn't really work all that amazingly, but I think that this does look pretty good. And as I say, it looks better in some ways than others. It does look a bit strange with the chest just sticking out here like the bottom more than the top and things like that. But you know what? I don't think it looks too bad. The legs, all the way out to the side. Rotation at the top of the thigh there as well. Then you've got the double jointed knees, which are ratcheted, by the way. So that's going to give you a nice strong stance there. It's not going to weaken over time. And then these joints down here at the ankles are exactly the same as the wrists, so that your feet can move up and down. They can also move left and right, and then you can pivot it around and get really nice ankle pivot. You even have a toe hinge right here, which is absolutely incredible. And I can't even think of DC figures with toe hinges. So this is awesome. Obviously, you got the peg holes so that you can use a base. I think people talk too much crap about this figure in particular. He looks incredible. Is it perfect? No. Is any figure perfect? 90%? No. But this guy really looks absolutely awesome. It's nice and new, and I think it's refreshing and incredible to have something of this scale, with this much articulation, with this many accessories, for the price that you get. So I think a lot of guys that talk about this thing and say that it doesn't look good or it doesn't perform well need to remember the price that this thing is and how much you're getting for that price, and quite honestly, just shut up. So yeah, definitely, if you're a Batman fan, if you're a DC fan, you need this thing in your collection. Absolutely amazing. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more from me, there's some videos on the screen right now and links to my social media in the description below. Stay tuned for more McFarlane Toys reviews. Go ahead and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.